you have to stay here. You have to stay put, as in stay here, do the work, stand in love, be here now. When you start to hold space and you know how to hold space beyond psychological reasoning, but when we get into vibrational living, and this is where this is the true energies of 5D and other consciousness, etc., the vibrational understanding that goes beyond rights or wrongs, this, you start to follow a whole other path that is available. And yes, yeah, the Hopi prophecy, it's like, it's absolutely here. It's absolutely coming true. I'd heard about it, I don't know, several years ago. And then when I was going through my breakdown, like, it wasn't at the forefront of my mind at all. But just before I met Alistair, and when I say the breakdown, this is when the breakdown of my relationship, and like in full, like, narcissistic abuse receiving, and I didn't even know what was going on. I started to get prophetic visions, and one of them was, it came into me in one night, and I saw all these different people that I was interacting with, and I had to fend off these people, and all the words that were coming out of my mouth were rainbows. And I realized, this is how strongly and powerfully I stand in love. And then I received the messages that the way that the Hopi prophecy is true, and it is coming, it is now, and it is coming alive, and that I am part of that. It's like, oh my goodness, it's actually true, and it's alive within us, and it's awakening within us. And what you were saying earlier about following other things, it's like, we don't follow any religion, methodology, anything other than the pure guidance of our heart and the light within our heart. And that is the vibration in which we follow. And it all exists. It all exists. We're not against anything. We're not for anything. But when you come into this, it's like, oh my God, I come into absolute alignment that is beyond all of this. Beyond all of this. And this is what is coming true. And I find this amazing, because these prophecies, they come from the Americas, and these other indigenous cultures, they also hold these amazing prophecies. And here we are, when lockdown hit, and just when I was meeting Alistair, I could feel the essence of the land calling, because I'd already started initiating into my shamanic pathway, and I was completely on my own at that point, and everything was breaking apart. I could feel the land calling, saying, you have to learn. And I wanted to go to the jungle, and I wanted to do deeper work there, but it was not only not available because of lockdown, but the teachings that I was getting was, you have to stay here, you have to stay put, as in stay here, do the work, stand in love, be here now in your country, because this wisdom is arriving out of you, it's arriving out of your land, it's arising out of where you are. If you move, you're going to miss it. And this is what we were saying earlier, if you're searching for it anywhere outside of you, you're running away from it. And the most powerful thing is to keep returning to standing in love. Stand where you are, get knowledgeable, get wise, expand your consciousness, because there's so much power in being where you are at right now. And that's when the prophecy comes alive, and that's when you start walking your talk.
Exactly. We're creating a podcast actually called
Don't say it yet.
Okay, I won't say it. But it's got an awesome name. But yeah, before we leave you, please like and subscribe, please. It means a lot to us. We want to get this out. But I wanted to finish on doubling down on what Hazel said about sitting and standing in this. So we've worked with other people trying to try to do this with other people and it's very difficult to go down to the body on your own. It's not possible to do this level of work on your own. It has to be in union, and if you don't sit in it, I've witnessed men explode.
What do you mean by that?
Physical violence, smashing things.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the opposite of not sitting and standing in it. That is actually the energy of denial. And that's very dangerous. So it's really important that you, like Hazel's been emphasizing, have someone who's strong enough to hold space, who knows how to hold space, because it can be detrimental to a relationship. We both actually finished our old relationships because they weren't right for us, and we met each other in I was going to say purity, but I definitely wasn't pure.
We met each other in chaos.
Yeah, we met. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, God.
And we were like, oh my God, do you want to go on this journey? Yes. Do you?
Yeah,
Oh my God. Okay,
yeah.
right. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of how it was.
But the point I make is that if we had to do this work after being together for several years, that would have been tough. And if that is the case, and there's one of you that wants to do the work and the other one doesn't, that's a really strong telltale sign.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So you have two options. If you're in a relationship and one of you is like, okay, yeah, let's really make the relationship work, and they're sort of on and off, or they haven't said yes to their own personal journey of clearing their own crap and looking at their own life, because every single person on the planet has this. Like, there's no escaping it. I mean, it's so rare, right? So we can just sort of say pretty much everybody, okay? There's probably a few exceptions, of course. But you have to take responsibility for your own journey. And taking responsibility for your own journey doesn't mean, well, yeah, I want to stay in this relationship, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. It means, oh my goodness, I'm going to do whatever it takes to look at my shit so that I can meet the other person
exactly
in a much better way.
Yeah.
And that's only where, divine union, sacred union can actually happen. Because otherwise you are, what we were saying before, is that you're coming into a state of compromise. Like, oh, I have to compromise myself in order to stay in this relationship. Oh, and we kind of find some kind of comfortable way of being together. So if one person in the relationship is not doing the work, it's not going to work, flat out. And the relationship will end, or you will find ways in which to compromise yourself and compromise your life and not live your full potential. So there's basically two choices there.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. And it's difficult. I was in a relationship and I thought I was very happy, but I knew I wasn't, because I wasn't following my intuition, and I wanted to go on this healing journey, and my partner, even though she was lovely, didn't, and there was an energy of denial there, and so I had to end that. And I'm sure you can imagine, for anyone that's been in a relationship for several years and there's nothing wrong with that person, it's even more difficult. But then when you go on this journey of purification and you look back on that and you see, well, actually there was something wrong, and it was the reason why you didn't feel comfortable. But in order to do that, you must, like Hazel said, you've got to look at yourself and you've got to sit in it.
Yeah.
You've got to sit in it.
Yeah.
You've got to take it. And if the rage comes, you find a way to gently let it out.
Yeah.
Scream into a pillow, I don't know, but you can't scream it at someone. You can't express it at someone. It's yours to take responsibility for. So I just want to stress that point, because standing in it and sitting in it is not easy.
Yeah. And I would say as well, you mentioned briefly about spiritual bypass, in that sometimes people come together, under a spiritual context, and actually, in order to get sex or in order to get something, and when it comes to the crunch of actually doing the work together, and this is what I got, I found out that actually the person was not doing the work at all. And if anything, that was creating such toxicity, because it's constant gaslighting on, belief systems, that it becomes hugely, hugely toxic. So if somebody's not doing the work, it's not going to work.
Right on. And I think we'll
So yeah, if you choose to surrender to the feminine, well,
and then open to the masculine.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we did touch on that, didn't we?
Yeah. So yeah, we want to end there. We've got some incredible videos coming, and we appreciate comments, questions, suggestions. We created a community page, and we're really enjoying updating that.
Yeah.
And our next video is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So thank you, and please subscribe and share and like our videos
and ask us some questions.
And
yeah,
I said that.
Oh.
And
thank you for being
thank
here.
you. Bye.
Bye.